Welcome to the world's fourth largest island and home to many of your favourite gemstones, Madagascar. Although the French had a foothold in Madagascar as far back as the 17th century, it wasn't until 1896 that the island was declared a French colonial territory. In 1960, Madagascar gained independence, but today the French influence is still very much around in the form of the national language and the very popular Renault 4 and 2CV cars. The gemstone industry is relatively new, having grown over the last 10 years into what, in some places like Ilakaka, can be compared to the Californian gold rush of the 19th century. Coming up in the programme, we travel to a secret location to see the very first stages of a potential new source for rubies. Steve Bennett gives us a guided tour of the gem boom town Ilakaka, and we take a look at the gemstone market in Ansarabe. But first, we visit the capital, Antananarivo, to hear from a man who's played a big part in the development of the Madagascan gem industry, Tom Cushman. Tom's head of the Gemological Institute of Madagascar, where they train local people in all aspects of the gemstone business.
School is a project financed by the World Bank to assist the Ministry of Mines and Energy of Madagascar to help the people of Madagascar get a better handle, a professional handle, on how to manage their gemstone resources. We call it our practical gemology class. They learn how to use all the gemological instruments. They learn how to separate more than 30 different kinds of gemstones. They get an introduction to imitations and synthetics and treatments. And then they finish up the course by using only hand instruments to make those same identifications. Some of these people are hobbyists. Some are going to be pros. They're all going to be more confident. So that in itself is going to make them into better business people. And we're hoping that the Malagash will be managing the gemstone business and that they'll be improving their ability to capture extra profit. And some of these guys are going to come out and be very, very successful.
As well as a gemology course, Tom also runs a gemstone cutting or lapidary school. Our very own Steve Bennett took a sample of the course and tried his own hand at cutting gemstones.
I spent days and days studying lapidary. I spent a day in the classroom as well. I've almost finished, after a whole day, a 57 facet round brilliant cut. I can tell you it's really difficult. I've got some of the most modern equipment here. I've got great teachers. I've got probably the easiest gemstone and the easiest cut to perform, and yet it looks pretty rubbish. So when you get yours home and think about where a lot of them are faceted just with a dob stick and years of experience, appreciate when you look at your beautiful gem, the amount of work that's got into it.
These guys are learning how to transform rocks into gemstones. It's just a 2-month course in the perfection of lapidary, learning how to cut gemstones in a variety of sizes and shapes and types to make them perfect. These guys and the gemologists are going to create the Madagascar gem industry so that these people can get the profit, and they'll be doing the exporting instead of having foreigners come here and doing the exporting. Our goal in 2015 is to have 500,000 people working in gemstones.
With all the hard work that Tom's already doing in Madagascar, it seems that his goal has a very good chance of being accomplished.
All different kinds of stones come from here, and they get brought to Tana and sold in Tana and exported from Tana. And we're looking for Madagascar and Tananarive in particular to become one of the world gemstone trading capitals. And we're on our way.
As Tom says, all different types of stones come from Madagascar, so let's explore further as we travel to Morafen to see a fully working apatite mine. The mine has only been operational for 12 months, but it's easy to see why the locals invest so much of their time and effort here. Apatite crystals are literally breaking the surface of the ground. Although not gem quality, it's a great indicator that if you dig a little deeper, you'll be able to find much larger and higher quality examples, perfect for cutting into gemstones. And that's exactly what they're doing here, as these experienced miners are retrieving apatite directly from the host rock. Pegmatite mining is very difficult, but if you know what you're doing, the rewards can be great. Here, the miners are actually using pliers to trim down pieces of rough, What they're trying to do is to break away any of the crystals that are not properly formed. This exposes the perfectly formed crystals that are sometimes hiding beneath the surface. Most of the rough seen here is probably only good for tumblestones or beads, but amongst the rough will certainly be a few elusive gem quality crystals. And with any luck, more high quality Madagascan apatite will find its way to coloured rocks very soon. Although mining gemstones is a difficult enough task itself, the hard work for the miners doesn't always end there. As there are no accessible roads, reaching this mine in central Madagascar requires a 2-hour trek.
So you have to walk 2 hours a day to take the tourmaline from the mines into the village. That sounds a lot of hard work. Every day, kunzite was carried by Tina down this valley to the marketplace, the other side of that mountain there. So next time you wear one of our beautiful gemstones, the trip that it had to go on is sometimes very, very hard work for people like Tina. We go the extra mile to bring you some beautiful gemstones.
Due to the largely rural landscape of Madagascar, this is a typical example of what miners do every day to bring back their daily findings. It's a long hike through this valley, but the scenery is truly spectacular. Nestled on the side of a mountain, the small mining camp is very self-contained and even has its own blacksmith workshop for repairing mining tools. The entrance to the mine itself is only big enough for one person at a time, but once you get below the surface, you can easily see how much work and effort goes into finding the tourmaline, kunzite and morganite that is found here.
We're 30 metres underground here in Madagascar, and Rad is one of the local miners, and Rad brings you some beautiful gemstones, and we forget this at home. We're sitting there in the studio some days and we look at some beautiful morganite, and this is the sort of gentleman that will bring it out of the ground for us. So it's very easy sometimes to look at these elegant gemstones and forget all the hard work that goes into mining them. That's where I see the value. We're looking for so many different gems to bring back to you, and Raddy does this every day, and he's found us some wonderful gems today.
Next, we're off to the picturesque town of Ansarabe, situated approximately 100 miles south of Antananarivo. Ansarabe still has a very colonial atmosphere, left over from the days when it was a popular health and spa town for the Norwegians who founded it. Later, it was the French who governed Madagascar from 1896 to 1960. These days, the gemstone industry is becoming increasingly prominent, so let's take a look at what they've got on offer at the local gem market. Madagascar is home to such a huge variety of gemstones that there's often only one place to go for locals and traders to see the many different gemstones on offer.
I'm here at Ansarabe Market in Madagascar. I've just found a piece of rough on a market stall, and as we can see, the colour of the pink at the edge here is much better than when we look at the middle. If we were to cut this gemstone ourselves, we would make sure we maximise the beauty. The carat weight would be smaller because we'd make sure the table facet was on the end. Carat weight would be smaller, but you would get a stunning, beautiful gemstone. Here at this market, what they've done here is they've tried to maximise the gem weight rather than the beauty. Here we see a beautiful piece of kunzite with beautiful pinks coming through from the tip. But as you come round then onto the table, you can see here that it's a lot more clear.
That just goes to show that when buying a beautiful gemstone, carat weight isn't always the deciding factor. Colour and clarity can be of equal or greater importance. And it's the colour of this next gemstone that has become world-renowned, making it one of the most popular and treasured gemstones of all time. Hidden away in the Moromong region of central Madagascar, among some of the island's incredible wildlife, a team of dedicated miners are prospecting at an early potential site for ruby. This top-secret location is being exclusively visited by our camera crew to give you an insight into what happens in the early stages of the mining process. The local miners have set up camp here in the hope that they will become the ones to reap the rewards from an as yet undiscovered deposit of ruby. Chipping into the rock reveals a whole host of minerals, including mica and quartz, but what they're really after is the ruby crystals that haven't undergone the same secondary metamorphosis as the other crystals. Unusually, the miners here are using a mixture of alluvial and host rock mining in order to achieve their goals, which really illustrates the rarity of this gemstone and why it's been so coveted throughout history. They're soon hoping to get a diamond-tipped drill up here in order to make the process a bit easier, but the fact that the site is nestled away from civilization means it will be very difficult to transport heavy, modern mining tools to the mine. So at the moment, it's all about brute strength and dedication if the miners are to achieve their goal of finding the elusive ruby. Early findings are easily cabochon grade material, so ruby lovers, keep your fingers crossed that once the miners dig a little deeper, this will become the next big deposit for beautiful Madagascan ruby. Next, Steve Bennett visits the gem boomtown of Alakaka, where miners from across the region are hoping for the same success as the ruby miners of Moramung.
The thing that touches my heart about gemstones from Madagascar is the effect they're having on people's lives. Over the last week I've travelled around Madagascar and I've seen the other side, I've seen the poverty. But right here in Alakaka there are over 27,000 people now mining for gemstones. And back in 1998 this was barren land, it was wasteland. I like this alternative. It is believed that around 20% of the world's supply of sapphire is found here in the beautiful lands of Alakaka, Madagascar.
First thing you notice when arriving here is just how many different mining sites there are. Most of the miners work in small teams and set up a location to find that first sapphire.
They're going to go down 13 metres and then they can, if they find sapphire straight away, they'll tunnel up to 200 metres. That's a long, long way down. And many of the gents around here, the guys 8 years ago, would have been farming. They would have been working the land to try and live off the land. But now with the mining, 1 or 2 sapphires a week will be enough to give them a good lifestyle, probably 3 times better than if they were actually farming. And in this area they've had some good finds recently and it looks a lot of hard work.
One of the miners actually handed me a shovel to see if I could cope with the hard work of digging a mine shaft. Needless to say, after 10 minutes of digging, I decided to leave it to the professionals.
Too late. Within 2 to 3 days you'll be 13 metres below the surface, 13 metres in 2 to 3 days. And then if they find the sapphire in the seam, they will go outwards up to 200 metres. That's a long way down. And as you can tell, I'm out of breath.
After they've collected the rough from the mine shafts, it's then washed in the water to make it easier to find the sapphires.
To get the water from it out of the ground, they've had to tunnel by hand down 30 metres. 30 metres for the water, and the water is there to actually cleanse through the rough to see if they've found any gems. Isn't it, Rano? No? Well, they haven't actually found anything yet today. A little bit of quartz, but no sapphires yet today.
Some locations in Alakaka demand mining on a much larger and more organised scale. Known locally as the Swiss Bank, a team of miners terrace the hill by shoveling dirt up in stages until it reaches the surface. 2 miners stand on each step and literally pass the dirt up to the step above them. Having already found the sapphire at the bottom, the aim here is to make a large hole at the same level where the best sapphires are likely to be hidden. This process takes a very long time, so the owner of the land finances the project, paying a salary to the workers and looking after the families until the sapphires are finally revealed. All of the miners will also receive a portion of the profits made from selling the gemstones, so being a miner here can be a steady and often lucrative job. Next, it's off to the town of Alakaka itself, a bustling centre where gem miners and traders alike can meet to buy and sell their hard-earned gemstones.
Between 6:30 and 7 o'clock in the morning, every morning here, right in the centre of the town, the businessmen bring their gemstones. They then perform a pre-sort. They separate for colour, for clarity, and of course by gem size. And let's go and have a look, see exactly how they then trade them. Right now he seems to be selecting the pink gemstones. Looks to me, yes, it's pink sapphire. And he's sorting those. He's got 1 to 2 carats there. So he'll have somebody in mind today that he's going to buy the batch, and he's going to go and try and trade them on the main street. He's measuring here for carat weight, and we'll broker a deal based on the weight that he finds. But this isn't the sorting process of finished gemstones, this is the sorting process of the rough. Raj has 3 tools here. He has his torch for looking and checking the clarity of the gemstone. He has his scales for measuring the carat weight, and his 3rd tool is his experience. He's got years and years of experience at looking at gemstones poured out of the ground here, and knows exactly which trader, which international businessman to take his selection to. So there's international brokers to the left and to the right. About 80 or 90 different individual brokers are down this street, and let's pop in and see one. Hey, how you doing? Today you're looking for pink sapphires?
Yes.
We should take back to Sri Lanka when you have enough of them. And have you had a good day today?
Yes.
And this is very much the last process, isn't it? We have the people mining, we have the ladies with the straw hats, we have the businessman and the entrepreneur, and eventually it all comes to you, and you say yes or no, 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 and you keep collecting, and then you get on a plane and go.
Yes. People coming, the mining, especially the mining people. When we meet mining people, sometimes we can get good stocks than the business people. We buy with business people also, but could be expensive little bit. If it is with mining people, price will be less.
Yeah, so you buy in a variety of ways. You buy direct from the mining people and sometimes from the businessmen.
Businessmen, yeah. We like to buy sapphire.
And that's what happens here on the main street, isn't it? Different people buy different things. And you seem to specialise in the pink and the better quality you seem to specialise in.
Patparaja, blue, ruby, cat's eye, yellow, we like that.
Great. So today Osman's actually been looking for the pink sapphires, but somebody's also found a crystal beryl, which he thinks he can make a nice cat's eye cabochon. I have a cat's eye cabochon.
Is it?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, very, very nice. So although he's been hunting down the pink gemstones today, he's decided to actually purchase this one and make a nice cabochon out of it. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Osman, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Lovely, nice meeting you.
See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
As Steve says goodbye to Osman, it's time for us to say goodbye to Madagascar. We hope you've enjoyed your journey and that you've learnt a lot about the history of this gorgeous country and the gemstones that are found here. So, please join us on our next gemstone adventure, wherever we may be.